Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel, I'm For Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what we do have in it is Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game free. Ooh, what a big title. So this game it is developed by the Milestones SRI, which is the developers of many other franchises like MotoGP, MXGP, and there was a game called Gravel which was kind of nice, Sebastian Loeb, you know, that's pretty much that. These guys develop some reasonable games and they seem that they copy, for example, a lot of gameplay. For example, MotoGP and Ride, they share the same gameplay but in different environments, and the same goes for Monster Energy Supercross and MXGP. They share the same gameplay, but MXGP is more of a you know, a rally cross, and Monster Supercross Energy it is more of a supercross. So I'm running the game with maximum settings in here with 1080p, and looking to the requirements, these guys ask for I mean they recommend for a Ryzen 7 1700X, which is a CPU with more cores than we have in here, but we have more performance per core, 16 gigs of RAM, which we have, and the GTX 1060 with 6GB, where the GTX 1650 Super that we have in here, it is slightly superior in power, but unfortunately it doesn't offer as much VRAM. But it doesn't seem that it is an issue with VRAM in this game. This game doesn't use that much at 1080p, only 3GB, so you will be fine. So at 1080p with maximum settings, I got an average of 19 frames per second and a 1% low of 76. I decided to try the game at 1440p high settings, but unfortunately I got an average below 60 frames per second, so I decided to reduce the settings to median, and yet, despite the average was 64 frames per second, unfortunately the 1% low it was 53. But yeah, most of the time the game was above 60 frames per second nonetheless. At 4K with median settings, the experience was also around 30 frames per second, but it was there was a big drop there at the beginning, possibly because of the quantity of bikes you see. I got a drop to 25 frames per second. So basically 1080p maximum settings, above 60 frames per second all the time. 1440p median settings offers an experience above 60 frames per second but with drops, and 4K median settings offers an experience around 30 frames per second with drops. It's not perfect, it is a little bit in line like all the other Unreal Engine 4 titles, but it seems that this game it is slightly more demanding. So what about the game? So like I was about to tell, this guy seems to copy the gameplay from the other franchises that they have. For example, MotoGP shares the same gameplay as Ride, but Ride it is more on the, you know, on the regular environments, and the MotoGP are on the official tracks, the big tracks where you can actually ride the motorcycles for the teams. I mean, the MXGP it is more of a rally cross, the Monster Energy Supercross it is about supercross. They all share pretty much the same gameplay. Ride and MotoGP share the same gameplay, and Monster Energy Supercross and the MXGP share the same gameplay. There are other games, like I tell you, like Gravel, which is a little bit different. It is a car-based game. And these guys always release like one game per year or 2 games per year. But it seems that they never really nail it. I mean, the games are fine, but they are also very expensive. They always ask full price, $49.99, and unfortunately this game, which I have trouble to speak the entire name of it, the Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game free, shares the same issues, because it is costing $49.99 on Steam, so it's still very expensive. So yeah, I don't really understand, because I'm not saying that the games aren't really worth it, but really, I mean, it's very expensive title, and they kind of do the same thing over and over again, just like FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer. But the thing is, these games aren't always really good, and if you go to Steam page, you see that most of the people are complaining about the gameplay. They say that it is pretty much the same as the other years. They just revamp some stuff into it, and they relaunch another game every year, so it doesn't really make sense, you know. It's like FIFA and Pro Evolution, but the difference is people are, you know, all the people want football games, and not all the people want really a Supercross game at all. They want one, they don't want each Supercross game, and really, unless you are really a fan of it. So I don't really know it. I don't know. I think that probably this game doesn't really deserve the money unless you are really a big fan of the series or of Supercross. Because aside from that, $49.99 for this game, I don't think it is really worth it, and the reviews speak from themselves. Alright, so guys, that's all that I want to talk about. Let's read this because I need to read to say the name of the game. The Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game free. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video. At least this track, it is way more demanding than the Supercross in my opinion. And I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.